Colonel Rob Maness, who, according to this latest poll, is at 16%, and the colonel saying that he's accepted every debate invitation he's received, and so far Bill Cassidy has only accepted one. All right, I think we might have him back with us now. Our ringside all-star joining us here on the airwaves, publisher of BayouBuzz.com, Steve Sabludowsky. And Steve, you with us?
Yes, I am. And how are you?
All right, very good. Welcome aboard, Steve. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Steve, a little bit earlier today, we talked to U.S. Senate candidate Rob Maness, who was excited about a new poll which showed him at 16%, which is his high mark in the campaign. He also said that he's accepted every debate invitation that he's received. Your thoughts on the poll and your thoughts on the campaign?
Right. Well, first of all, I saw the poll, at least the press release regarding the poll. I saw it yesterday. I personally wrote a column about it, and it's up on BayouBuzz right now. It's an internal poll, and so far, to my knowledge, there's no independent poll that is showing that. So,
internal poll, what do you mean? I don't think it was done by Maness. It was done, I think, by the Senate Conservative Fund, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that it was, the way I've read it, the press release, is that he said it was, at least I had to look to see exactly what he said or what the press release said.
Yeah, but, I don't think his campaign did the poll, but regardless of who did it, it is interesting in that we haven't really seen any numbers in a while. Now, according to the poll, it shows that the colonel is best positioned to take on Mary Landrieu in a runoff. Obviously, I think a lot of people would dispute that.
Sure. Well, to me, I think it does make a difference as to who has done the poll, and we'll just have to find out, who did the poll. The press release didn't say who had done the poll, but anyway, regardless, assuming that the poll is accurate and reliable, is he in the best position? I don't know. I think to me, the big question is why hasn't Cassidy agreed to the debates other than one? So
I've got that same question. Shed some light on that, Steve. Educate us.
Well, in the column I wrote yesterday, basically what I said was that 6 years ago, roughly 6 years ago, if I recall correctly, John Kennedy wanted Mary Landrieu to debate more often, and she chose not to. And so, to me, that indicates that the person who is ahead, generally speaking, does not want to go ahead and to risk it during a debate. So, you could argue whether or not Cassidy is ahead or not ahead. I don't know what the internal issue is and why he hasn't agreed to the debates. But to me, I think he's concerned about something, whether it's a lead or whether or not it's being say hit by the left and the right.
Our talk line 504-556-9696. Jeff Crouere here, Steve Sabludowsky with us, cruising through an open line, taking your calls right here on the Ringside program. A few other quick issues, and we'll take some calls. Also, we were just talking to Treasurer John Kennedy. I know you interviewed him for BayouBuzz. He's had a successful program where he's just given back a lot of toll money. Steve, do you think he might throw his hat in the ring and run for governor next year?
That's a lot of ifs. I think that if he decided to do so, I think it would depend upon if somebody else jumped in. And that's just my own personal feeling. I didn't talk to him about it. I do encourage your audience, however, to take a look at the interview. It's a 3-part interview. It was a webcast interview that we did, video, and I think he had a lot to say. And I'm not sure exactly what y'all talked about, but I think that
Talked about the toll refund program that just
sure.
concluded, where he gave back 3.1 million people to 3.1 million dollars to 127,000 people who were due toll refunds, and he's been giving people back their money, unclaimed property now for years, and
Sure.
it's one branch of the government where you get money back.
Yeah, and give him credit for that for sure. Is he going to run for governor? I mean, did you ask him? I didn't ask him. Again, I do believe though, if he might run if somebody else jumps into the race, and so that's my
Speaking
belief.
at the governor's race, I went to the Republican, event they had on Sunday, sponsored by all the Republican clubs, welcoming all the candidates who were running. And Jade Arden was there, who is running for governor. Billy Nungesser was there, who is running for lieutenant governor. So you had the candidates running in this cycle, Colonel Maness and Bill Cassidy. And all the local races there, a lot of DA candidates. That DA race is going to be hot on the North Shore. And then, of course, you had the people already running for next year. So it's going to be a busy year or so in politics in Louisiana with this Senate race, and then a very competitive governor's race, lieutenant governor's race, and all the other statewide offices as well.
Sure. Let me ask you a question. That is, in your circles, what are you hearing about Cassidy not debating? I mean,
I think some people are a little disappointed that he's not agreed to debates. It's usually, you expect your guy to be out there, mixing it up. And I mean, he's most of the sort of Republican officials are behind Cassidy since he's got the endorsements, and
Sure.
I think they would probably prefer him to be debating.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he's not comfortable in that kind of a forum. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
I'm looking forward to the debates. Again, we had this discussion last week, and I personally prefer the debates. And in fact, the only televised debate at this point in time, they're only going to have, I believe, 3 of the candidates. And for me, that's fine because those are the 3 that are most likely we're going to win, and at least one of them. And I'd like to hear what they have to say about the issues rather than everybody give an opinion who all of them, but for say 2 will not be in a runoff should there be a runoff.
Our talk line 504-556-9696. Steve Sabludowsky with us, Jeff Crouere here. I'm sure our next caller doesn't agree with you, Steve.
Sure.
He's in the race. He's running hard. In fact, he was the subject of a Jeff Sadow column yesterday. Our friend Reverend Brown is with us here in the program. What's going on, Rev? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Steve. First of all,
Good morning.
If I may explain to Steve that if Steve, you need to do your research. In 2002, no advertisement, no endorsements, no money, riding around in my own car throughout the state just shaking hands, 2% of the vote. Mary Landrieu called me personally to endorse her. Go do your research against Susan High Terror. After the Republican Party under Roger Villa decided we're not going with this black radical. I must admit, Jeff, I was kind of a little more into that radicalism back then. Is that right?
Yeah, you're mainstream now, Reverend. Back then, you were wearing the Black Panther garb, I think.
I just want to get Steve Sabludowsky straight. I'm
Okay.
I'm not going to win the election because 2, I'm black, and 3, I don't have the economic and the finance to win the election. Let's get that out the way. What my premises is in the election is to get enough of black vote that will put pressure on all the candidates, but including Mary Landrieu.
So your goal, what your goal in running, Reverend, is to put pressure on Mary Landrieu. That's your goal.
Put pressure on Mary Landrieu and to eliminate her. If you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they can say, "Oh, you're working for the Republicans." Let me just say this here: I do not see where the Democrats have done anything for black people. And Mr. Sabludowsky, I respect you. You're a good brother, but to just downplay, you don't understand what I'm running for.
Well,
I'm running because I know the black vote would usher her in to victory. And I don't want that to happen because what these Democrats do, they trash the Republicans. When we look at their record, go look at their record, you can see they have not done anything to fight the crime situation in the black community. They have not put any jobs in the black community. They have not done anything. It's a smoke screen. That's all it is. And so you say, well, you're a Democrat running. But I understand how politics work.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, I'm against Mary. That's why I'm running, Steve guys.
Let me say, Rev, I agree with you. She's done zilch, nada, nothing for the black community. Go ahead.
Right. Let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
He got to understand, because if I'm a voice at the table for the poor and the dispossessed, Steve, you should be happy to have me in these debates, because I'm going to talk about the issue that Mary and I'm not going to talk about. Okay? The crime wave in the community. You got whites being attacked by black youths and black men and whooped, and yet they trying to play it down. Oh, it's not racially motivated. Yes, it is. Reverend Brown and the man will stand up and say, whites are being attacked and it's racially motivated, but even the police departments are scared to say, yes, it's racially motivated. They're afraid of a protest and a riot. This is what they are afraid of, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get out there and protest. I'm not protesting for no black person and attacking no white folks, on the basis of race.
Right.
I'm not going to go out there and support that black person.
Hey, Rev, hang on. Rev.
I'm one of the most biggest civil rights leaders in the state.
Well,
I guarantee you, if I could generate $50,000 right now, I'll get 80,000 black votes.
All right, hang on, Rev. You might get some white votes too, because we have a gentleman who's on the line. He wants to talk to you, and his name is Sid from Gentilly. Sid, you're on with Reverend Brown, Steve Sabludowsky, and me, Jeff Crouere.
How you doing, Reverend Brown? Look, I don't like the way you talk and you can't win. Don't go in this election and tell people you can't win. You got my vote, my boy. I love you like a brother. Believe me, I do. But don't be going around telling people you can't win and you can't do this. I want you to debate Landrieu, that thief. He's a thief. They got a lot of thieves in Baton Rouge. They got him in the city. You know that. You know that. They got thieves in the city. They corroded with him in City Hall. The mayor's a thief. He's a thief. He's a thief. The governor's a thief. They all thieves. You got to get in there. I want you in there. You got to get rid of Mary Landrieu. But don't be telling people you can't win. And please, don't tell the public you're an ex-Black Panther. I mean, I don't think. Lie like the rest of them do. Don't be telling people that. That's the past, and don't even worry about that. Lie like they do. Landrieu's a liar. The governor's a liar. The mayor's a liar. Just lie like they do, my boy. You got my vote. You understand? Just don't tell people you can't win. You can't win. I don't want to hear that.
All right.
Telling people you're an ex-Black Panther. Don't just lie about that. Thank you.
That's Sid. Hey, you got a white vote right there, Rev. Go ahead.
Let me conclude.
Yes.
I qualified Friday evening, right?
Yes.
Today is what? Monday, right?
Tuesday. We're close. Tuesday. Yes.
All across the state, my phone been ringing off from organizations fed up with Mary Landrieu. Let me tell you something. The press up north put my name all in the newspapers. You got to Louisiana, New Orleans, the Times-Picayune and the Advocate.
Yeah.
Haven't even ran a story on the other candidates at all.
Well, what does that tell you?
Well,
that's home cooking for Mary Landrieu. Go ahead, Steve.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
So if I'm not a threat to our campaign, then why is the media so afraid to publish my name in their paper?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Reverend, let me
Go ahead,
say this. Okay, first of all, I do promise that we will publish this audio on Bayoubuzz so that people will have an opportunity to hear exactly what you have to say. They can hear it from Monroe and Shreveport and Alexandria and Baton Rouge, Houma, Lafayette, New York, and even in say Missouri. So look, we'll get you as much information out there as possible. And
Well,
if they also let me also say that if they get upset, however, that you're that you are trying to, obviously you're entering the race to defeat a candidate rather than to win. I don't know. To me, that's just a waste of time. That's a waste of effort in terms of my watching a debate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and watching now. If you want to go on radio, etc., and like you're doing now, and you want to denounce a candidate, fine. That's fine. If somebody wants, I'm more than happy to publicize what you have to say and your position. I have no problem with that. I'm glad to. But for me to, with limited amount of time that I might have, or Mr. Joe Public out there might have, to watch a debate and have people, watch candidates who have no chance of winning and maybe no interest in winning.
Well,
that's, to me, I'm sorry, that's a waste of my time, and I think a waste of perhaps their time too.
Our friend Sid said he does have a chance. Reverend, real quick
response.
It's one
out of how many, 2 million some voters?
First of all,
yeah.
Sabludowsky, you can't win if you ran.
Well, I'm not running. I'm not running.
You couldn't win. Wait a minute. Let me say this here. You could not win if you run. Many of us can't win because we don't have the finances of what we can do. We can't bring up the critical issues that are impacting our community that are not being addressed. And that's where you're wrong at. You want to silence the masses of the people. You can't do that, sir.
Wait. No.
I'm a black man. First of all, wait a minute. Put this on your radio thing. I'm a black man, right? You know, if I was a prominent black leader in the state of Louisiana and I had $5 million, it would be difficult to win. It's not the money. It's the racial. It's the racial polarization of the election. Just no, I'm telling you the truth. If we can get beyond race, yes, I can win.
All right, that's Reverend Brown.
I thought the election was not about race. I don't get it. I mean,
hang on, Steve. We're gonna take a brief time out. We got to take care of some business. How's Reverend Brown? We're going to take more of your calls, 504-556-9696. It's ringside right here on WGSO. Steve Sabludowsky with us. You can check this out via Hangout at Bayoubuzz.com. All right, let's take care of some business. We'll be right back.
If your AC or heat's not working right, or worse, not working at all, let the pros at River City Air Express get your system running again, and fast. They come when you need them. East Bank, West Bank, North Shore. River City Air Express, 841-3300.
Acme Oyster House has been around for over 100 years, and that doesn't happen unless you do things right. That tradition lives on with family recipes that date back from one generation to the next. Acme Oyster House, born in the French Quarter, praised all over.
Everyone knows that the city of New Orleans has the best food in the world, and obviously we're known for the best music in the world. But we're also known for producing some of the best coffee in the world, and no one does this better than New Orleans Roast Coffee. And I should know. I'm Felton Jones, the roast master of the city's well-known PJ's Coffee and New Orleans Roast Coffee, the city's newest and freshest brand of coffee on the market. At New Orleans Roast, we put an emphasis on quality and freshness in every cup. You can find all of our great creations at the city's finest restaurants. Also look for it at your favorite local grocery store.
You face many questions and uncertainties in life. This is Ralph Leopold. Join me for Your Money, Your Life.
Tuesdays at 5 on WGSO 990 AM.
And we can talk about it.
Hi, this is Jim Spyro. Join me every Wednesdays from 5 to 6 p.m. on 990 WGSO or WGSO.com. Remember, your influence counts. Use it. See you then.
Grace at the Green Light, empowered through choices in basic essentials. Grace at the Green Light needs you for an innovative homeless outreach. Volunteers needed for
Hey, Steve.
distribution.
Hey,
Can we extend this for another segment, or do you have to roll?
No, that's fine. That's
okay,
fine.
Great.
Space socialization and
I'm
engagement.
trying to squeeze in one quick call, and then I'd like to do another segment if we could. Okay.
Sure.
For more information, www.graceatthegreenlight.org.
Hi, all you outdoorsmen. Join me, J.C. Smith.
And me, Tim Z.
For the Bayou Sportsman Show, Thursday nights at 7 p.m. here on WGSO 990 AM and at WGSO.com.
If you're chomping at the bit to give your opinion, don't horse around. Call Ringside Politics with a Punch. Grab the reins now by calling Jeff Crouere at 556-9696.
All right, Steve Sabludowsky is with us. Time for one more quick call, and then we're going to extend this with Steve for another segment. Let's go to Evan, who's with us in New Orleans. Hey, Evan, welcome to the program. Good morning, sir.
Morning. It's Kevin.
Oh, Kevin, I'm sorry. We had Evan down there. How you doing, Kevin? Good morning.
I'm good, man. It's always fun to hit a reverend in the morning, I tell you that. But I will agree with the Reverend on a couple of things. Me personally, I'm an Afro-American male, and I can tell you right now, I will not be pitching a vote for Mary Landrieu whatsoever. And part of that reason is I'm just tired of the same old Baton Rouge back and forth, playing the game on voters, and not really dealing with the real issues in Louisiana. And I'm just waiting on a good candidate to come out that's willing to attack those issues that our state really needs to be addressed, you know. So, but I do agree with the Reverend. No, he wasn't going to win. I doubt very seriously that there will ever be a black governor anytime soon, maybe in my lifetime. It's still Louisiana for one thing. But we can only hope for a good governor, somebody that comes out, that's straightforward. I don't think anyone has a lock in this next governor election.
I agree, Kevin. I think it's wide open.
Right, and I think it's not that difficult. Yeah, it's not that difficult to get votes in Louisiana right now because our last governor was, that was just ridiculous there. So I think everybody's ears are going to be wide open to. And one thing we learned is to listen to exactly what they're saying.
Yes, sir.
And I have some of my friends that voted for Jindal. I said, well, Jindal is doing exactly what he said. You can't get mad at him now, but I think it's wide open. I think people need certain issues need to be addressed. Reducing the prison system, educational system, and we got to start getting some major industrial companies in this state because some well qualified workers, some young adults going into.
Well, Kevin, let me say this, Kevin. We're going to be discussing all those issues, and you're always welcome on this program to air your views. I want to thank you for your call, and I agree with you. I think we're going to have an interesting, wide-open race for governor, and this Senate race hopefully will be one where the issues will be debated, and we'll see these candidates in these debates. Hang on, Steve. More of your calls coming after this. This is Jeff Crouere. Join me at 7 a.m. till 11 for Ringside Politics with a Punch, right here on WGSO 990 AM, New Orleans, Louisiana.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm John DeMaster.
ISIS is attacking U.S. vital interests in the region and destabilizing the Middle East, and is also a threat to the security of the American people.
The president authorizing drones to fly over Syria to conduct surveillance. The next step could be airstrikes against ISIS terrorists. Retired Army General Jack Keane on Fox News saying this is where we need to strike.
If we take ISIS down in Syria, take away their support infrastructure, this is their supply bases, their troop staging areas, their command and control facilities, their training areas for the foreign fighters that are streaming into it. All of that is there. This is their major sanctuary.
Hamas is reporting a long-term ceasefire has been reached between the terrorist group and Israel in Cairo. Israeli diplomatic sources saying Israel hasn't responded to Egypt's ceasefire proposal. This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Everyone is making the switch to the Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? Make theblaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to the Blaze TV at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And Real News, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Pat and Stu, and Jay Severin. Or, if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to the Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. This is the Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
There's been an aftershock in Napa County, California. A 3.9 magnitude quake hitting about 5:30 local time. No reports of damage or any injuries. Burger King's going to be moving its corporate headquarters to Canada as it buys the Canadian coffee and donut chain Tim Hortons for about $11 billion. This move will help them avoid U.S. corporate taxes that are among the highest in the world. The Obama administration not happy about the move because it means a loss of revenue for the government. The deal creates the world's third largest fast food company, giving Burger King a stronger foothold in the coffee and breakfast market. Michael Brown's funeral held in St. Louis, and there a civil rights activist and TV news host drops a heavy message on the black community. The Blaze Radio's Chris Barnes with more from Washington.
We have to be outraged by our disrespect for each other.
The Reverend Al Sharpton speaking at the funeral for the 18-year-old black man killed by a white police officer in Ferguson, Missouri earlier this month. Sharpton saying the bad apples must be taken care of within American police departments, but the black community must also be straight up about its own issues.
Blackness has never been about being a gangster or thug.
And the Obama administration trying to explain away the meaning of the president's JV remark.
White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest. The president was not singling out ISIL. He was talking about the very different threat that is posed by a range of extremists around the globe. Many of them do not have designs on attacking the West or attacking the United States. Florida Republican and former Congressman Alan West says the administration trying to define ISIS in a way that fits into their national security strategy so they don't have to take an action.
And if I were our allies in the Middle East, such as Israel, Jordan, Egypt, and also the UAE, I would be very nervous, as well as the people in Europe who are going to start seeing this terrorism exported. I'd be very nervous about the statement that this administration just made.
West, the guest on Fox News. This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
If you are behind on your bills, then this message is for you. How would you like to have a large portion of your credit card debt or medical bills forgiven? National Credit Card Relief would like to give you free information on a proven debt forgiveness program. It's not bankruptcy, it's not consolidation. This special program actually wipes clean the portion of your debt that is forgiven. Call for your free forgiveness information now. 800-520-1558. That's 800-520-1558. Don't wait. Call 800-520-1558.
Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep because someone broke into her apartment and stole all her sheep, not to mention a 50-inch flat-screen TV. Luckily, the Geico Insurance Agency had helped her with renter's insurance, and she got full replacement. She has since trained her sheep to do voice impressions of various attack dogs, and now feels very safe. Visit geico.com to see how affordable renter's insurance can be.
Now, sit back and get ready for Ringside Politics with a Punch. Here's your host from ABC 26, the Conifer, the Kenner Star, KTV, City Business, and WLAE. It's WGSO's own Jeff Crouere.
Hey, we're back. Very pleased to continue our conversation with our Ringside All-Star who checks in with us on Tuesdays. He is the publisher of Bayoubuzz.com. His name, Steve Sabludowsky, joining us here via, of course, the airwaves at 990 AM and WGSO.com, and also via Google Hangout at Bayoubuzz.com. And Steve, welcome back, sir.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. And those people who are watching, this on Bayoubuzz or who will be watching it later on, there is a picture of the Reverend right up to my right. Do you see it by chance? Or
Yeah, it looks like he's at a rally. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm not being fair. So Reverend, please,
Well, here, let me just throw
you're now being televised.
Let me throw this out there. Back in 2002, he got 2% of the vote, running against Mary Landrieu. Fast forward to today, and he is more well-known than he was 12 years ago, more mainstream than he was 12 years ago. And I think there's a chance he could do better than he did back in 2002, where he got 2% of the vote. And that could be a big, big factor in this race, as Jeff Sadow pointed out in his column. Your thoughts?
Well, it could be. I mean, it could happen. I assume that the 2% that he got way back then was a different 2% of the people that he's trying to recruit in his campaign, where he says that he doesn't expect to win, and that's not why he's running. I mean, he's obviously running as somebody who is on a particular mission, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. I mean, except I just don't want to watch a debate with people on a particular mission who are not going to, who really don't think they want to be U.S. senator or governor, or whatever the race may be, and who don't expect to be.
Our talk line 504-556-9696, and I mean, the bottom line is he hasn't been invited in the televised debates anyway, so they've just invited Maness and Cassidy and Landrieu. Now, I do think the question is what's going on with Cassidy? Why hasn't he accepted the debates, and why has he only accepted one? That to me is real perplexing, considering the fact he's not the runaway favorite, he's not the leader. He is, most polls show a dogfight with Landrieu, so I would think he'd take every opportunity he can have to take her on. So anyway, let's get some input from the listeners. Steve Sabludowsky with us, Jeff Crouere here. Come join us at 504-556-9696. We'll kick off this segment with our friend Jim from Uptown. Hey, Jim, how are you, sir? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm going to make an observation. I listened to the guy Brown, whatever preacher, whatever he calls himself, and then I look at some of the other races, and sometimes I look at these races as almost being inexpensive advertising. You look at the guy running against D.A. Cannizzaro, Ron Burns, no chance in hell to win. You look at Reverend Brown, he gets on the air, he gets a platform, boom. And then there's another race which really upset me when I found out yesterday about Doug Hamill. Doug Hamill pulls out after having signed a paper as a lawyer who's supposed to be knowledgeable that if he sat ad hoc, he shouldn't run. His last race, it was a question as to his residency. I mean, what is it with people? Do they think that running for public office is just an opportunity to get up on the stage, to make yourself popular and famous? Or is it really an effort to say, I want to bring honesty and integrity to an office, and I want your vote, and I want your confidence in your trust? So I'm just curious how.
Well, I mean, you raised some good points. I think for some candidates, it's just an opportunity for a platform, an opportunity to get a little publicity. Others, I think, are really trying to win. So I think it varies. In the case of Hamill, I was disappointed, Jimmy, when I read about that. And I think he would have probably won that race if he could have stayed in there. I mean, he came so close last time. And then you've got the Yolanda King mess, where this lady doesn't seem to know where she lives, and all kinds of different addresses she's using, and questions about her integrity, her competence. That's sort of a farce. And then you get to the Senate race. You got 9 people running, and only 3 really have a realistic chance of winning, and that's why the TV stations are really only inviting 3. Steve, your thoughts?
Well, I think there's a difference between the right of somebody to run for an office, an elective office, and the right of, say, media to show those people, based upon some criteria that they think is fair, for a debate. 2 different issues altogether. Look, I applaud Reverend Brown for getting into the ring and expressing himself. He has a right to do so. I hope that he's at every debate that will welcome him, and his message, I think, will reverberate depending upon if he gets it out there. And but do I think that the media, whoever the media might be, and their sponsors, do I believe that they have a right to curtail and only allow those people who they believe have a chance of really winning? And I think, yes, they do. So,
Right.
The Reverend has a right to be on a soapbox. And look, I like Reverend Brown. I've known him for quite a while, and he's a very, very, very kind, polite person. He's passionate in how he feels, and the fact that he is in there as some might believe as a stalking horse, that's a different issue. So yeah, let them run. Absolutely, 2 different issues.
And I'll tell you, at least on this show, and whatever media forums I can encourage will do the same thing. I think they should invite all the candidates on. And certainly I'm going to do that. I'm going to have as many candidates as I can on, so I want the listeners to be able to hear from as many people as possible. I'm going to try to do that for the TV show as well. I don't want just these phony debates where these candidates are using, their prepared remarks, and it's a stiff exchange, and there's no spontaneity, and nothing you really glean from it. It's just staged and rehearsed, and I'm sick of those types of debates. I want free-for-alls. I want it where you really have, some surprises, Steve, where you have candidates mix it up. You have something that can be a little interesting for people.
Right, and that's up to, again, that is up to the sponsors and the media who are putting it together.
Okay.
And secondly, up to the candidates themselves, because they this is not just something like, look at Cassidy. He's only agreeing to 1. So what if he agrees to 2, 3, and 4, the same 4 that Landrieu agrees to? But the difference is that he says, well, but this is the format that I want, or Landrieu says, the same thing.
Right.
So it's not just, the media who are doing this or their sponsors.
He might demand that Maness not be included or something like that.
Sure.
I've been asked to moderate a debate, and I'm going to look forward to that. And believe me, it will be different from some of these other ones that you're going to see, Steve. All right. I'll give you more. I can't release the details yet, but I will be soon, and I'll let you know very soon. All right. Let's get back to the phone call. Steve Sabludowsky with us. Jeff Crouere here. Our talk line 504-556-9696. Our friend Adam in Pearl River is with us. How you doing, Mr. Adam? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, fellas. I would personally love to see Raymond Brown participate in these debates. I think he would bring questions forward, challenging the claim of Mary Landrieu in that she is the female messiah of blacks. I think he brings important questions from the black community, and that claim needs to be examined and aired publicly. And I want to congratulate Raymond Brown in his response to Steve's criticism of him for running. He gave the most astute answer I've ever heard him give, because we all know that it's common practice for people who have certain ideas about what they want to see happen in politics to run, even though they don't particularly have a chance to win, to get their ideas across and to affect the thinking of the major candidates who are running. That's a common practice. It's done in presidential elections on the Democratic and Republican sides, and I don't know why it's being questioned by Steve here.
No, I'm not questioning that.
Well, you did 10 minutes ago, Steve. You were criticizing him for running even though he knew he didn't have a chance. Now, we can go back on the tape and listen to your criticism. I know that's available to
Wait. What? Okay, no. What? No, of course. What I'm saying is this, okay? And, again, I applaud him for running. I've said that, okay? I applaud him for getting out there, okay? However, wait. Let me just finish, okay? I don't applaud him for running if he doesn't think that he's going to win or if he doesn't want to win. I think there are other ways that he can get out there on a soapbox, and other people are doing. I mean, they're raising money, and they're doing commercials. Look, there are other ways of doing it. I just think that when you qualify for office, I'm not trying to quelch his voice or anybody's voice, but if you qualify for office,
all right. Let him respond, Steve, and then we got some other calls we got to get to.
Okay, sure.
Adam, real quick response, and we're going to roll on. Go ahead, sir.
Jeff, it's perfectly legitimate for Raymond Brown to want to get his ideas across to affect Mary Landrieu's agenda. Now, we know, because we've listened to Steve a long time, he is really concerned about anyone who may present any challenge or take away any vote from his beloved Mary Landrieu. That's what it's all about for these diehard liberals, and that's what Steve is. I mean, I'm not criticizing him for it. I'm just stating the fact.
All right, that's Adam in Pearl River. Quick response, Steve, and then we get some other calls in. Do you dispute that?
Well, I think that if he were to read WGSO-Bayoubuzz and read all the articles that I have written, on WGSO-Bayoubuzz regarding this U.S. Senate race, I think that he may draw a different conclusion. No, I'm not. This is not about Mary Landrieu at all. Not at all. It's about any candidate who doesn't feel like they have a legitimate chance of winning and doesn't want to win. Okay? They have a right to say whatever they want. I just prefer that they not qualify. Go ahead and say it.
Well, but then, Steve, you'd be saying you don't want any Green Party, Libertarian Party candidates to qualify because they don't have a realistic chance of winning. But, I'm going to have on a Libertarian candidate tomorrow who's running for Congress. I admire all these people that put that money down and enter the race. And I think the more the merrier. The more choice we have, the better.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I agree with you, but number one, I would certainly hope that you have that you go in there, qualify, thinking, hoping, and wanting to win. Okay, and that's okay. So that's a different. This is not about Mary Landrieu winning or my wanting her to win or Cassidy or Rob Maness or anything.
My impression is that Raymond Brown entering the race was her worst nightmare, not something that she was hoping to see on.
No,
in qualifying.
No, her worst nightmare, I think, is this charter gate. I mean, I think that's a lot more of a nightmare than Reverend Brown. I'm sorry.
Well,
in fact, let me just say this. I think that, quite frankly, that debate ought to be had in terms of what Reverend Brown was just saying. Although I do think there was inconsistency with what he was saying about race.
Every vote is going to be a vote for Mary Landrieu. That's what I see, Steve. I mean, I see his votes as being votes that historically go to Mary Landrieu. He's making the point. What in the heck has she done for the black community? What has she done? What has she done? What has she done in these areas around the state that are infested with poverty and crime and blight? What has she done? Where is she? I mean, is she here? Yeah. I mean, with these folks on the ground dealing with these issues?
Yeah, and look, again, I think that's a legitimate debate. And I think that,
and if he wasn't in the race, who would make that? Who would make that claim? Who would bring that issue forward if he's not in the race?
Well, I would hope that both Rob Maness and Cassidy
But
would,
isn't he better positioned to do it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I would think that Rob Maness and Cassidy ought to be saying that that the approach that they take towards government and society is going to benefit the black community more than the approach that Mary Landrieu
But
is
as a
taking.
black reverend, I just think he's got more of a claim to be able to say, hey, this is something that deals with my community all the time. I'm out here fighting for these issues all the time, and I don't see Mary Landrieu.
Again, okay. The only difference I have with you is the question about a media debate.
Okay.
Number one, that's issue number one, and issue number two is in terms of qualifying for office and the capacity of somebody qualifying for office, which I include the desire, the ability, and the willingness to win.
All right, let's get
and to take office once they qualify and if they win.
Let's get some calls in. 504-556-9696. Our friend Live Wire is with us. Live Wire, good morning, sir.
The worst nightmare and final undoing for the communist senior senator will arrive in a couple of weeks when this satanically influenced Muslim-in-chief dictator president will write a new several executive orders, apparently, like all his dictatorial orders, to give amnesty to millions and millions of people from Central and South America. And the fact of the matter is, jackass Democrats who are working in this state don't want to fund those non-working individuals in the future. Thank you.
I think that's a good point. I think that could very well hurt Landrieu, Steve, when Obama does what everyone's suspecting that he does do in a few weeks, maybe even a few days, issues this blanket amnesty. I think that could be impactful in the race. Your thoughts?
Well, if you look above here, that's my slogan for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Vote for no one. But seriously, I don't think that's going to help Mary Landrieu, and that's certainly, I think, a whole lot more of a nightmare than a stalking horse.
All right, let's take a brief time out. We'll take care of some business. More of your calls coming. Jeff Crouere here. Steve Sabludowsky with us. Our talk line, 504-556-9696. It's ringside right here at WGSO 990 AM, WGSO.com, and via Google Hangout at Bayoubuzz.com. A lot of issues on the table. Let's take care of some business. More with Steve Sabludowsky right after this.
For over 70 years, Young's Dry Cleaning, the biggest in Metro New Orleans because they've always been the best. For free pickup and delivery, call 288-8381 or go online, youngsdrycleaning.com.
Hey guys, a great gift for her anytime is a day of relaxation at the Woodhouse Day Spa, 4030 Canal Street, right off Carrollton in Mid-City. The Woodhouse Day Spa, call 482-6652 or online at nola.woodhousespas.com.
Frisbee's is a spot to catch all of your favorite sporting events. We have two 70-inch TVs. I also have TVs on our deck while sitting waterside. You'll never miss a play. Hi, Jonathan Brisbee. Whether it's at LSU Saturday or Saints Sunday or the Pelicans on the hardwood, we have you covered with drinks, food specials, and an atmosphere that will score every time. Frisbee's is open every day but Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. for lunch, dinner, cocktails, and private parties. Check us out online at frisbeesrestaurant.com. Frisbee, 7400 Lakeshore Drive. Come as you are.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Jay Darden. There's no better place to golf than in your own backyard. The Audubon Golf Trail offers a dozen challenging courses throughout the state, and AAA Southern Traveler named it 2013's best golf trail in the South. From north to south and east to west, you can enjoy some of Louisiana's most beautiful sights directly from the fairways of the Audubon Golf Trail courses. For more information on the trail and its courses, visit www.audubongolf.com.
Hello. The Family Business is a show all about families and the goods and services we need to grow and thrive. Join us weekdays 1 to 3 for information you can use from local businesses. Call in with your questions, because on the Family Business, we say put your money where your heart's at and keep it local, like this.
At Rock and Bowl, where family meets fun, ample secure parking,
One stop, dine and rock. Be part of the family at the family business at Rock and Bowl.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
Can we extend this anymore? Or do you have to go?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
We can do maybe one more. All right, thanks.
Is valued. In fact, if you like your opinion, you can keep your opinion. And I know you've heard that before. You can believe that's the truth. Call Jeff Crouere now at 556-9696.
Hey, welcome back. Steve Sabludowsky with us. Jeff Crouere here. Come join the conversation at 504-556-9696. Steve, you ready to take some more calls?
Sure, please. Thank you.
Let's go to the People's Champion, who's joining us now, I guess calling from the Big Easy, our friend Zorro joining the conversation. What's going on, Zorro?
Good morning, Jeff. And like Steve, I applaud Reverend Brown for running. Therefore I offer 5 steps to political victory for Reverend Brown. Number 1, first wear a Klan robe and hood, like Dave Chappelle did one of his famous skits to fool the whites and get their vote. Number 2, distribute Howard Johnson, Mark Essex DVDs to violent Tea Party honkies to get their votes. Number 3, buy Sid a six-pack. Number 4, distribute Old Testament Bibles and stones to religious zealots like Loose Connection Landry to get their votes. And number 5, and this is by far the most important, hire Captain Black as campaign manager. This guy would make P.T. Barnum blush. He is the current edition of Robert Namer, a self-promoting flim-flam man seeking to become a power broker. If you do these things, Reverend Brown, you will shock the political world. Good luck.
Zorro with some helpful political advice there. 504-556-9696. Let's go to Michael on a cell phone. What's happening, Michael? Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. First of all, I'm going to give a shout-out to my poor little Christian brothers, Adam and Pearl River, Daniel and Metairie, and Phil the Patriot. Their misinterpretation of the Bible is legend. They think the earth is 6,000 years old, and they also forget that the important parts of the Bible, you're supposed to pray for your president. To ask them if they ever prayed for Barack Obama if they think the earth is 6,000 years old. But now I want to talk about Maness, Cassidy, and Landrieu. Cassidy, believe it or not, a Republican, is doing something with some brains. He's not going to be in the debates because he has no chance against a seasoned lawyer like Landrieu who would crush him. It would be like the Saints against Jesuit in a football game. But,
oh, you're funny, Michael. You're funny. Unfortunately, we're out of time. We could keep the comedy going, but we can't because the news is coming up right now. More with Steve Sabludowsky, Jeff Crouere here. It's coming up on 10:30. Time to get the latest from the Blaze. 504-556-9696. We'll be right back.
This is Michael Savage. Join me in the Savage Nation weeknights 9 p.m. to midnight right here on 990 AM WGSO in New Orleans. Give me 15 minutes and I'll give you the real America. Savage.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm John DeMaster. The U.S. now gathering information as the president authorizes drones to fly over Syria. Here's the Blaze Radio's Chris Barnes in Washington.
Word of the surveillance flights above Syria coming as most Republicans and counterterrorism experts are calling for airstrikes on ISIS forces wherever they are, something the president's been resisting.
He's like a child.
Retired Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters going on to tell Fox News.
I mean, he's just not going to clean his room. And you can't make him clean up his room.
That, as ABC News quotes an unnamed U.S. military officer who closely tracks ISIS, as saying its forces are very professional, well-trained, and equipped. He says they operate like a state with a military and don't just scatter when you drop a bomb near them.
Hamas reporting a long-term ceasefire has been reached between the terrorist group and Israel in Cairo. Israeli diplomatic sources saying Israel hasn't responded to Egypt's ceasefire proposal. A former Republican congressman saying the Obama administration is in denial about the threat of ISIS terrorists. Here's the Blaze Radio's Brad James.
Military consultants, lawmakers, and terrorist experts are watching as ISIS terrorists expand and multiply, creating a global threat.
But we already have reports that Abu Sayyaf out of the Philippines, Jamaat al-Islamiyah out of Indonesia, and also al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula Peninsula are aligning itself with ISIS, and they're going to make this into truly a global threat.
Speaking on Fox News, former Florida Congressman Allen West saying ISIS is well-funded and organized.
They're pulling in recruits from Europe, from the United States of America. So if we are going to defeat ISIS, we have to do it now. We have to attack those logistical support bases. And we can't have a president that's telling the world what he is not going to do.
And California's Napa County being rattled by a 3.9 magnitude aftershock. This after that strong and damaging earthquake hits California's wine capital over the weekend. This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. The Woodhouse Day Spa finally brings the spa experience to New Orleans you had to go out of town for. The Woodhouse Day Spa, 4030 Canal at Carrollton, or call 482-6652 for an appointment.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. Young's Dry Cleaning comes to you, home or office, East Bank or West Bank. To get on Young's free pickup and delivery list, call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Frisbee's is a spot to catch all of your favorite sporting events. We have two 70-inch TVs. We also have TVs on our deck while sitting waterside. You'll never miss a play. Hi, Jonathan Brisby. Whether it's at LSU Saturday or Saints Sunday or the Pelicans on the hardwood, we have you covered with drinks, food specials, and an atmosphere that will score every time. Frisbee's is open every day but Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. for lunch, dinner, cocktails, and private parties. Check us out online at frisbeesrestaurant.com. Frisbee, 7400 Lakeshore Drive. Come as you are.
Not only is he speaking easy, he's easy to speak to, and he won't cut you off. Ringside Politics with a Punch is on the air now. Give Jeff Crouere a call at 556-9696.
Hey. We're going to continue rolling on with our special guest, publisher of BayouBuzz.com, Steve Sabludowsky, our all-star who joins us on Saturdays. I'll have my column posted later on today at BayouBuzz.com. And check out RingsidePolitics.com, where we're doing a web poll right now asking the question, which Republican is the one with the best chance of beating Hillary Clinton in 2016? 10 choices on there, so cast your vote at RingsidePolitics.com. And let me ask Steve Sabludowsky that question. Steve, presuming Hillary's a nominee, and I think she's got the sort of machinery behind her, I think she'd be the favorite. Who do you think would be the Republican best position to defeat her?
Well, their faces are up on the screen right now. Jindal and Romney. But seriously, no, I know you wrote a really, really good column about Romney, part 3, and it's I think that he just might be the person who could beat Clinton. I mean,
Romney?
Again, it might be the person. I do hope that there would be somebody else who would be competitive. I'm not a Clinton person. I never have been. I don't like what people did to their administration, but I certainly don't like what the administration did during their administration either, in terms of Paula Jones, etc.
Yeah.
So, I just don't know. I don't know how to answer your question. I do want to point out one thing about, and I do ask your audience to read the column that I wrote last week regarding something that the NOLA, Times-Picayune, wrote, and that is that they said Louisiana was, they reported that Louisiana was third in the nation over the last 7 years. I'm sorry, since 2005. Since 2005, they're in the nation in gross domestic product. And I corrected them. And the governor, by the way, who has been saying basically the same thing. And I came up with information to show, and this is not about me, this is just, I think we should watch what our candidates have to say. Okay.
Did they issue a correction?
No, they didn't. Surprisingly and amazingly, the Times-Picayune has not issued a correction, and
don't expect one from the governor.
Well, no, I don't expect one from the governor. Look, the bottom line is, and I believe, and we're going to have an expert that we're going to have on, maybe hopefully more than one expert, because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I want the experts to tell me. But in my opinion, the reason why that when General says we were twice that of the than the rest of the nation average over the last 7 years, that is a true statement. That's a true statement. But year 2 and year 3 of his administration was because the stimulus and also because of the Katrina money.
Okay.
That came in buckets and barrels. However,
what about the BP money?
Sorry?
What about the BP money?
Well, I don't think all that money's there yet. Okay, but the thing is that the last 3 years, however, we have been woefully below the national average, and so the governor is not mentioning that, and he's not mentioning at all the Katrina money.
All right.
So those people out there in Washington, D.C., from Politico to Washington Times to wherever he wants to publish, they need to look at the facts.
All right. The only reason I said BP is people getting lots of claim money. I mean, even though the big money hasn't arrived. I mean, I know people have been getting payouts from BP, and I'm sure that has stimulated the economy somewhat.
Oh, sure. And by the way, one other fact that I threw out, and please, I hope somebody will take a look and disagree with me here.
Yeah.
But one of the facts I pointed out was that in 2004, before Katrina, 2004, the GDP was higher under Governor Blanco than under any time under Governor Jindal. And that includes the Katrina money.
All right.
Now that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so look, please, economists, whatever, please. Call me up because I'd love to have you on do a video and have an interview about it because I just want the facts.
If you get a response from the Jindal administration,
I did get a response from the Jindal administration very high.
Okay.
And they're welcome to discuss this on video.
Let's get back.
For the matter.
Yeah, we'll do it here. Let's get back to the phone calls. 504-556-9696. Jeff Crouere here. Steve Sabludowsky with us. It's ringside on WGSO and Bayoubuzz. Let's go to our good friend, Miss Violet, who's with us. How you doing, Miss Violet?
Well, praise the Lord. Good morning, Mr. Crouere. How are you this morning?
Oh, doing great, Miss Violet. Good to hear from you.
Good to hear from you, too. And good morning to our all-star, and good morning to all our callers and listeners out there. And Mr. Crouere, my neighbor, and her name is Margaret, and she listened to your show. Her husband went on home, and I just want you all to, pray for her and the family, okay?
Yes, ma'am. We'll do. Okay. Tell her hello for me, and we'll keep her in our prayers.
Thank you so much, Mr. Crouere, and you all. So, first thing I want to say, that Jack Leg Brown, let me tell you something. Brown is the most cunning, deceiving, wicked witch that I've ever known. This man is an enemy of God. He is an enemy of Jesus Christ. He hates Jesus. He hates God. He hates anything that has anything to do with true born-again, body of Christ Christians. He hates. So that's the reason why, and guess what? You all better be careful. Talking about Brown, because guess what? Brown has Cassidy in there or himself in there, and Crouere will be left out in the cold. You hear what I'm saying? This man, he's just wicked. He's just evil. Nothing good in him. I don't care what nobody say. He's wicked. He got to turn to God, and he don't want to do that. You understand? Because him and his group thinks the same way, and they think you're crazy. You understand? But ain't nobody crazy. I would not give 1 2 cents for Brown. The same way I feel about that abominable or antichrist or Hussein Obama in that White House. It's the same thing that I feel about Brown, and it's a doggone. And Rick, you're absolutely right. This country is gone. It's moral decay. You hear what I'm saying? And it's sinking deeper and deeper. Guess what? You're looking at Zimbabwe. All right, you're looking at them. You're
Zimbabwe.
This country leads to dictator country.
All right, my dear. Ms. Violet painting a pretty disturbing picture where this country is. Ms. Violet, good to hear from you, and we'll keep your friend in our prayers. Thank you for your call, 504-556-9696. Let's keep it rolling. Louis joins us in Wagaman. Hey, Louis, how are you? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. My comment is basically about the debates and who should be included. Anybody that qualifies should be included. I mean, the only way we're going to find out who the best person we can choose, because the debates aren't about the candidates, it's about the people's choice. You know, we electing people to represent us, so everybody should be included. And as far as the TV stations and all that with duty with their sponsors, no, they got a duty to the public first. That's public airways that they're renting from us to be able to put their stuff on TV. So everybody should have a say on that soapbox.
Louis,
I TV down and let them go back to the parks like they used to do.
I agree with you, Louis. Steve, you disagree with Louis, though. Your response?
Sure. Well, again, you know, he's bringing up the debate, and so that precise issue. If you have 50 or 100 candidates running, and you only have, say, 2 debates, then you're not going to really, the general public person is not going to really have a good chance of finding out, you know, maybe what the responses are to real issues other than this trash that we're seeing in terms of TV commercials. So, you know,
hang on, Steve. Let Louis respond. Louis, go ahead, sir.
What limits the debate to 2? The only ones that want to limit
the candidates
in office that feel they've already got an advantage. You know, you asked earlier, why is Cassidy hiding from the debate? Well, why is he calling himself Dr. Cassidy instead of Congressman Cassidy? He's trying to hide from his voting records. That's why he's hiding from the debate.
Again, I look, if there are sponsors out there and TV stations out there who want to go ahead and fund a debate with 50, 100 people, you know, who are running.
But see, they're 9 people. They're 9.
No, I'm just taking. I understand that. I'm taking it. You know, are you talking about a principle? A principle? If so, then take it to the extreme.
Yeah, but how many times have you actually had 100 candidates running for a Senate or for a congressman or for any office?
Listen, I do understand, and I want personally. I mean, this is just, you know, how I feel. I personally, I'm not trying to impose this on anybody. I'm not imposing on anybody. I personally would rather have a discussion for those people who are most likely going to win, wanting to win.
But who says they're most likely to win?
Who's most likely? If they got a candidate that gets up there, he's got better ideas and.
It's just my opinion.
He can't get that idea out there. You go and buy a popularity contest because of a party got behind somebody and spent millions of dollars to lie and make them look like they're better than what they are.
Look, I
well
agree
said,
with
Louis.
you. Louis, I agree with you. I mean, I really dislike the process. I'm a no-party person, you know, so I agree with you there.
Isn't it wrong when the, quote, powers that be determine who's going to be in the debate, and the powers that be determine, well, he's legitimate and he's not? I mean, shouldn't the people make that decision? And my formula and Louis' formula, I think, is better in that you have all the candidates up there, let the public hear from all of them, and then decide who's legitimate, who's not legitimate. Let's hear from the candidates as opposed to the quote powers that be determining, oh, well, this candidate can do it and this candidate can't.
The powers to be, if you want to call the TV stations, their sponsors, legitimate organizations like cable who are sponsoring, you know, they make those decisions. Nobody's stopping any other TV station and sponsors to come up there and say, hey, look, we want all of the candidates.
Right.
You know, and let me, here is a challenge. Here's a challenge. And a Bayoubuzz, WGSO, Dead Pelican, the Hayride, and some of the other web sites out there, let's get together and have a debate, and let's have your callers fund it, okay? And we'll invite everybody out there, and all 10 people, and we'll have, just like we have right here, 9 people. Okay, well, I was going to run.
But wait, we can't get Bill Cassidy to show up for the TV debates with just Mary Landrieu and Maness. If we have all of them up there, you think he's going to show up for that?
No, I'm not saying that he will, but what I'm saying is that in today's technology and communications, which is what I'm trying to convey to the rest of the world and the state, okay, we have the power to be able to to make change. And so your callers, if they want to contribute $5, $10, $20 to an internet debate, let the Hayride and Dead Pelican and all the websites out there who are trying to make a difference in this world, okay, to get out there and to have a debate and invite.
Well, I mean, I'd like to do one here on this program. We could maybe do one on the Ringside TV show and fill the void, Steve, which is out there, because we just have these debates with just the 3 candidates, and there's 6 other candidates. And
I understand. So
I think they should be included.
Again, your callers, are being challenged by me, okay, and Bayoubuzz doesn't have to be a part of it. Make it an internet debate, okay? And let's have that doesn't cost as much as TV, and that you can get as much circulation on something dealing with the internet, much more so actually.
Well, you can get more than you can on some cable debate.
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, Louis, good call, good comments. Let's take some more. 504-556-9696. Brian checks in from Metairie. What's going on, Brian? Good morning.
Yes, sir. I'd like to add something. When you're talking about Mitt Romney, he was doing so well in the very beginning, and then, I mean, there was comments made that somebody up in Washington had some type of information on him to where it was all of a sudden it was like his whole campaign shut down. He came out the starting gate like a fox going after a hunt, and then he just sat back and did the same old. You got the governor of Louisiana that's going to balance the budget again on one-time money, but he wants to be president. You got Cassidy who's running, but yet he hasn't shown up. I don't even think he's answering phone calls.
Mm.
You know, and you're going for Republicans, and this is what worries me the most. When we're getting ready to start having a campaign for the presidency, and when we start having the major TV debates, who is going to be running these debates? Are the Republicans going to fall back, like when CNN was running the debates and they were asking what their favorite colors were? I mean, how about saving us from war or bringing back Burger King is going to finish acquisition of a new company, and they move in their business.
I know, to Canada.
To corporate, to Europe to get away from the taxes. That is a discussion that we need to have as a nation.
All I know is we don't want to have Candy Crowley in any debates down here, because we know where she's coming from, the far left. Hey, you raised some good points, my friend. I mean, there's so many issues which we need to address. Your initial comments about Romney, I think, are ones I made in my column. He started off like gangbusters. He won the first debate and then shut down in debates 2 and 3. Obama was able to wrest momentum from him and cruise to victory. Steve, some people continue to believe that Romney changed tactics because he was pressured, or because somebody had something on him, or because he was blackmailed, or something behind the scenes that we don't really know that may have caused him to change his strategy and become less aggressive about Obama, allowing Obama really to steamroll him the rest of the way. You don't buy any of that, do you, or do you?
Not really. I don't. And let me just say this. You know, I personally would like to hear how we're going to deal with all of these issues. What this thing in Syria and Iraq really scares me a lot. Okay, and I don't know how I feel about it. I remember Vietnam. I remember how we got sucked into that. Okay, and how the patriotic fervor just took us over, and it was a giant sucking sound, and we're in there for a long period of time.
11 years. Yeah.
And I don't know if we could annihilate this force. I don't know what the cost is going to be and what it's going to be to the budget. So I want to have this debate, and I want to have personally those people who are running to be able to answer these questions, and not personally like to hear what they have to say. So in terms of Romney, look, I think that he ran, and I'd like to give somebody else a chance.
Let's give someone else a chance. All right, let's get back to some calls. 504-556-9696. James James from Metairie is with us. All right, James, good morning, sir.
Jeff, good morning. Hi, Steve. If I were the Mary Landrieu campaign, I would take a recording of the lady who called in, who said that Reverend Brown is an enemy of God and that he hates the Lord, and put that on the commercial on the black stations. Reverend Brown would be a bigger pariah than what he is. And concerning Reverend Brown's candidacy, look, let's face it. Reverend Brown's candidacy, Jeff, is the proverbial you-know-what in the punch bowl. He's nothing but a spoiler. And he talks about, well, his goal, his objective is to take away black votes from Mary Landrieu because he says, what have the Democrats done for the black people? Well,
yes.
What have the Republicans done for the black people? And I'll give you an example. Back in March, this upcoming candidate, Rob Maness, said, Jeff, back in March, that if he had been in the Senate in 2005, he would have voted against the $60 billion aid package for Hurricane Katrina victims. Then, in a so-called clarification subsequent article, he gives this lame, weak type of rationalization. Well, you know, I would have done everything I could for the people. Hey, guess what, ex-Colonel Maness? That's not how the Senate works. Maybe it worked for you as an installation commander where you could have commanded things to get done, but you would be just one of 100 in the Senate. You have to work together. You know, making legislation, like they say, is like sausage.
Right.
So this guy wants to be the senator, Rob Maness, this ultra-conservative Tea Party candidate, would have voted against the aid package, $60 billion, Jeff. Now, what would that have done to the black population, this Tea Party Republican conservative, Jeff?
Well, I mean, I think he issued a clarification to, respond to the critics of his comments. I mean, I think a lot of the help that was given obviously was wasted. We had fraud, we had abuse, we had all these people that went to jail. But a lot of people were helped. I mean, it was a total disaster. And the government, I think, has a role in helping in natural disasters. And they had a role since they created the mess here with the dysfunctional levees to have a commitment to rebuild this area. I think the most effective aid was given, though, by individuals and churches and folks who came down here to support the people in need. I think, we're still dealing with Katrina. We still haven't fully recovered from Katrina. It might take decades to fully recover from Katrina. But I think the federal government certainly owed the people of this region a response. They gave us, I think, a delayed, ineffective response. And I think, there's been a lot of folks who still really haven't been effectively helped from that whole disaster. Steve, any quick comments on that? Because we've got to take a break.
Go ahead and take a break.
All right, let's take care of some business. We'll come back with more. Steve Sabludowsky with us, and we'll also squeeze in as many of these calls as we can at 504-556-9696. Jeff Crouere here. It's Ringside WGSO. We'll be right back.
Nothing says family and tradition more than Acme Oyster House. For over 100 years, Acme Oyster House has been welcoming guests to come on in, sit back, and stay for a while. So if you're planning a homecoming or just planning on coming home, Acme Oyster House, still grilling and chilling for over 100 years.
River City Air Express has demand service. That means service when you need them, day or night, weekend or weekday. River City Air Express, your AC and heating experts. 841-3300.
Everyone knows that the city of New Orleans has the best food in the world, and obviously we're known for the best music in the world. But we're also known for producing some of the best coffee in the world, and no one does this better than New Orleans Roast Coffee. And I should know. I'm Felton Jones, the roast master of the city's well-known PJ's Coffee and New Orleans Roast Coffee, the city's newest and freshest brand of coffee on the market. At New Orleans Roast, we put an emphasis on quality and freshness in every cup. You can find all of our great creations at the city's finest restaurants. Also look for it at your favorite local grocery store.
Hey, New Orleans, this is Sue May with the Cannon Hospice Health Hour. Join us to get the latest and most up-to-date health information here on WGSO.
Saturdays at 12 noon. I'm Lieutenant Governor Jay Darden. There's no better place to golf than in your own backyard. The Audubon Golf Trail offers a dozen challenging courses throughout the state, and AAA Southern Traveler named it 2013's best golf trail in the South. From north to south and east to west, you can enjoy some of Louisiana's most beautiful sights directly from the fairways of the Audubon Golf Trail courses. For more information on the trail and its courses, visit www.audubongolf.com.
This is William Wallace. Join me Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. here on WGSO 990 AM for my town hall. Hear what I have to say and let your voice be heard.
Hi, Eric Asher, host of Inside New Orleans. For the best in New Orleans news, sports, politics, and entertainment, join me weekdays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on 990 WGSO.
There's more than one way to skin a cat. Just watch out for those PETA people. You're listening to Ringside Politics with a Punch. Give Jeff Crouere a call now at 556-9696.
Hey, welcome back. Steve Sabludowsky with us, Jeff Crouere here. Steve, we have just a few minutes. I'm going to squeeze in as many as we can here. We go to Brett on the North Shore. Welcome aboard, Brett. How are you?
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Steve.
Hey.
Two quick things. One, the earlier comments you made about an email from Brett that talked about the petrodollars and all that conflict in Europe and Russia, that was not me. I just want to let everybody know that. That wasn't me. That must be another Brett.
Okay.
Secondly, Steve, I'm more than happy to pony up some money for you to do an internet-based debate with all the candidates in the Senate race. And I'm just curious, though, are your one, could you go ahead and talk to public television stations that are simulcasting that with you since they're receiving public dollars as well? And thirdly, are your advertisers going to walk on you if you sponsor such a thing? Will they tell you, no, we're not going to advertise on your website during this event?
Oh, listen, I have no idea. I mean, it's something that has percolated in my brain. Again, I will go ahead and pursue it, and hopefully Jeff and others. Again, I want the liberal websites, the right-wing websites, all to participate. And again, I do think this is something that people. This is the beginning. The technology is here. We ought to be able to do it.
I
really.
like the idea, Brett. I'm going to pursue it with them, and we'll keep you posted on it, and hopefully we'll have a lot of support for the idea. Thank you, Mr. Brett. Let's go to Jack in Metairie. Mr. Jack, how are you? Good morning.
Oh, good morning, Jeff and your guests. I'm enjoying the show this morning. But I was calling. There was an excellent article in the American Thinker yesterday, the case for the Louisiana open primary system, and I applaud Reverend Brown for getting into the race, because the more that's in it is a situation where Mary Landrieu will not get 50% of the vote and have to go in a runoff, because there was the article goes on that there's Fox News did a story on this, and they got to looking at, man, there's a handful of federal races and, of course, state races where liberal Democrats have got won the election with less than 50% of the vote because of libertarians and other ones in the main election and everything.
And here we can't. And here you got to get 50, right, Jack, to win.
Exactly.
Yes, and that's why our system in that respect is good. Thank you, Jack. Steve Sabludowsky, thank you. Thanks to everyone who joined us today. Great discussion. And, of course, we'll be back tomorrow to do it again, 7 to 11, right here on WGSO. Keep it here.